You need to wait for a manager to let you go home, okay? So I work at a store that sells kitchen appliances and other kitchen-related stuff. Normally when we're supposed to leave or go on break we're supposed to tell our manager. I was helping a long line at cash and had already been there for 8 hours and assumed they had someone to cover me. I wasn't allowed to use the walkies to ask to be covered to go home, so I quickly found my manager and told her my shift was done. She got really pissy at me and said, "Could you really not stay a few more minutes?" I tried to tell her, "I thought you had someone to cover me, I can stay if you want." She then replied, No, just go. But next time you need to wait for a manager to let you go home. Record scratch. This was never a rule. I asked other people who've worked there for years and they agreed that it wasn't a rule. I worked again a few days later and the store was empty. My shift was over and was about to ask to go home, then I remember what my manager told me. Cue malicious compliance. I continued to wander the store and slightly fix shelves, making sure I was near my manager. After about 2.5 hours she said, "You're still here. Why haven't you gone home?" I replied, "You said I need to wait to be told to go home." My manager looked at me as though she was mentally kicking herself. "Just go," she said. I clocked out and that's how I got paid an extra $30 for doing literally nothing. Edit. Holy crap, this post blew up. I wanna answer a few questions and comments I see y'all have been making. 1. Are you only making like $12 per hour? Nah, I did some rounding. IACC make $15 per hour but rounded it down for simplicity's sake. Probably should have elaborated on that. 2. Didn't you just waste your time? Nah. This company is very stingy with hours for everyone and the way I see it I got paid while barely helping the company so I don't care. 3. You should definitely be making more. Yay, I should. But this is only a temporary job to make extra money until school starts in September, so don't worry about my financial well-being. She still hasn't specifically told you that you don't have to follow this rule. Malicious compliance is still in effect. $30 seems awfully low for 2.5 hours of overtime. You sure it was worth it? 'Cause I feel like you're the loser in this situation. Yes, you complied, maliciously. But for what? $30. I also round down from 15 to 12. You did ask a manager in the first instance. Her. I don't understand her comment. Haha, got her good. I'll pee. Good on you, mate. You're the best. Hope you got yourself a great meal with those $30. Yeah, I don't miss working at Best Buy. $30. I get almost that per hour. $40, $45 on weekends. Every time someone from America says how much they get paid, it blows my freaking mind. How do you all survive over there? But why did the manager not say this? No, I didn't. What are you talking about? Furthermore, staying clocked in and trying to be paid for shifts you were not officially scheduled for is fraud. It's not like it was written down anywhere. $30 for 2.5 hours? Kicking herself or wanting to kick you? 2.5 hours. $30. Listen up, kids, your sweat equity needs to be paid accordingly. I'm a laborer and if I'm not clearing $1,400, $1,600 AUD a week, I simply do not get out of bed. Some dude at work said something brilliant to me that has stuck. You should be paid an hourly rate that is based on giving you $1 for every year you've lived per hour. This may seem ludicrous at first, but it's a great way to value the work ethic you may give to an employer. If your boss wants to pay you $15 an hour when you are 21, you're better off spending that hour walking in the park, playing games or any other shit you like. People who agree to work for pitiful hourly rates set themselves up for a world of crumbling self-worth. If my shift has ended, I walk out, simple as that. $30 for nothing? You wasted 2.5 hours of your time. Unless your life has nothing going on in it, you got robbed. Making $15 per hour in retail is standard in Canada, that's minimum wage, and super good in USA from what I understand since their minimum wage is much lower. Not sure why people would be surprised. I love instant rules. This just sounds bad on both ends. $30. You need better pay. 2.5 fucking hours, for $30. Nay, I say. Nay. That's some shit. Get a different job. I'd almost forgotten how weird workplaces are about this. I used to wait around for 45-90 minutes after every shift for my manager to let me go home. I swear sometimes she just sat in her office on her phone knowing I was out there, just standing and waiting for her to come do my checkout. It was so fucking frustrating, especially since I was a tipped employee, so me staying for an extra hour was only like an additional $4. It ended up being one of the major reasons I'd quit. Now I have a job with a scheduled out time. I do my checkout myself and leave when my shift is over. If I happen to pass a manager on the way out, I just say goodbye. Where can I find you at quitting time? I need you to be there every day, otherwise I don't know how to report. Lucky, my manager reminds us every week that 8 hours is the bare minimum, and he can keep us for up to 12 hours if he wants to. We aren't allowed to go home without manager permission, and my colleague got called into his office for a talk after leaving at her scheduled finish time. We aren't allowed to leave at our rostered finish time unless we give prior notice. Don't know why I'm surprised considering we only get a total of 1 hour and 5 minutes break time for a 12-hour shift. Australian farm jobs are such bullshit. Unamused. Next time bring a sleeping bag. I stopped at kitchen. Just quit. Robot. Top get paid $12 an hour? That's insane. I work retail and can easily imagine one of my managers say something like that. I actually got a MC story in waiting now because of that manager. I called in sick, then the next day I get shit from my boss because, you need to call in at least 1 hour before when you are sick. That was never a policy I have been told in my years there. So next time I am sick, I'll go in, mid-pandemic IDGAF, get my temperature checked and asked if I have symptoms of COVID, but they never say, and then answer honestly, yes, I am sick. I have whatever reason I would have called sick, but I woke up less than an hour before my shift so I couldn't call in sick. Now let me clock in or I'll be late. $12 hour. Do you really need the job? IDK where you're from, but where I am McDonald's is hiring $15 hours plus and other fast food places. Either way, good luck. Nice sticking to them. $30 for 2.5 hours of overtime? Yikes, you must have zero employment standards in your country, state. You should definitely be making more. I continued to wander the store and slightly fix shelves. For doing literally nothing. Literal slavery. Anti-work Doreens in a nutshell. Lol. What? You paid extra $30 for 2 hours and you are happy? I can OT for $100 plus an hour and I wouldn't do it. LMAO. This is def not malicious compliance. You worked 2.5 hours of overtime and only made $30. We need higher wages right now. You're sure to go far. Seriously, why would anyone promote you or want to hire you? Get your head screwed on straight or you'll be working minimum wage for much longer than you need to. Is it even worth correcting people anymore when they put the dollar after the number? So many uneducated fools have done it that it is almost the right way now. How depressing. Nice. That being said, if she was smarter you'd probably have gotten fired or wrote up. Basically my experience is, if you didn't get it in writing, it was only said until the second it no longer benefits the company to have said it. Always cover your ass cause nobody else will. When I worked at Pizza Hut, only a manager or a team lead could clock you out. If a particular team lead was in, you better not be caught standing at the computer, doing nothing, waiting to be clocked out. This guy would conveniently forget, and you'd end up working several hours overtime. That fucking sucked. Damn. Hopefully you get a decent employee discount. I used to work for one of those scooter companies and they decided they wanted to cut my hours even after they swore up and down it wasn't going to happen, so what I ended up doing was just clocking in every day, knocking out my stuff, and then ended up with a 3.5 hour break every day. Not surprised. That's what happens when you work shit pay retail jobs. Thank you. I most definitely did. Keep doing it. Only making $12 per hour. God, I wish I was in a place where $12 per hour didn't sound like a lot. Bounce. That is all. Next time they pay you, look irritated and say, could you really not pay me a few more dollars? Really? You've worked for 8 hours. Why the hell would anyone want to stay even a few more minutes? I worked for the CEO of a pharmacy startup in Redwood City, CA. The CEO would stay until 7 p.m. sometimes. I was not allowed to go home until he allowed me to. If I left any time before he said I could, I would be yelled at and told I was not a team player and not good at my job. He also told me that I should come in at 6 a.m., and getting in at 7 a.m. was considered late. The hours were supposed to be 8-5 with 1 hour of lunch, but he requires me to do 6 a.m. 7 p.m. every day. It was an awful experience, and it still haunts me until this day. The company name is AlphaScript. Hope you can. You did make it out of this work situation. You don't deserve this bad treatment. Wow, it's wild to me that it took her that long to notice. Lol. I'd personally never do this, but only because at the end of 8 hours of retail hell I can't stand another second, but good on you for standing up for yourself. We need more of that. I worked for a place that was pretty unforgiving about minor lateness and put you in positions where you had to stay up to an hour after your shift ended. Got written up for my latenesses, so I started dropping everything I was doing at the time I was scheduled to leave. This lasted like 3 days, and then they made an effort to prepare me for the end of my shift. Like, if I was in the middle of a sale with someone, I would hand them off to someone else. They 3 customers complain that I just walked out on them. If it happens again, make sure you note how much overtime you've done that week. A lot of places have time and a half laws when hitting a certain amount of hours.